Fitness is the need of the hour in this era, and there are many different diets to choose from. A new diet trend emerges almost every other day, promising great results. The Atkins Diet is one of the most popular diet plans recommended by fitness bloggers and influencers, and has remained in vogue for many years. And in case you have been wondering if this is a good diet to go for, stick around till the end to find out for yourself. Atkins Diet Pros and Cons, coming up. This video is brought to you by Good Health Corner. At Good Health Corner, we bring research health information in a simplified manner that is easy to understand. If you like what you see here, we request you to support us by clicking the like, subscribe and the bell button. This will ensure that you get notified every time we release a video. Disclaimer: the health statements made in this video and the site are not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure or prevent any disease. They are solely for informational purposes. Always consult your doctor before implementing any treatment protocol. Let's start with the basics. What is Atkins Diet? Atkins Diet is a low-carb, high-protein, high-fat diet and is usually recommended for weight loss. First proposed by the American physician and cardiologist Robert Atkins back in 1972 in the book Dr. Atkins' New Diet Revolution. And the diet plan and its efficiency have ever since been under scrutiny by several studies around the globe. Some studies have suggested that it could be more efficient in weight loss than others. However, this has not been proven with 100% certainty. Let's do an analysis of the Atkins Diet. The main reason why Atkins Diet became popular is because there is no limit on fat and protein consumption. And the simple science behind this is, if a shortage of carbs is created inside the body burns stored fat for energy, and hence causing weight loss in the process. The focus is on choosing the right kind of foods rather than limiting your calorie intake. Many different studies have been conducted comparing it to a low-fat or calorie-restricting diet, and several of them have indicated that the low-carb diet may be more efficient in weight loss. However, this has not been proven with 100% certainty, and many health practitioners believe that cutting carbs is not necessarily more beneficial than controlling overall calorie in the long term. Which diet works for you will ultimately depend on what you can sustain over the long term while maintaining good health. To understand the principles behind this diet, it is important to understand how our body stores and uses carbohydrates as a source of energy. First, carbs, proteins and fats are the three essential energy sources for the body. Carbohydrates contain sugar, starch and fiber and are found in grains, vegetables, milk and fruits. Though much maligned in many new diets, carbs are actually one of the main sources of dietary fiber and essential nutrients for the body. In a normal diet, 50 to 60% of the total calories would come from carbohydrates. The recommended daily intake of carbs for an average adult is 135 grams, with 1 gram providing 4 calories of energy. And thus, carbohydrates are the main fuel for the body and brain. They're broken down in the liver into glucose, which is used by the body as energy to perform various functions. And glucose that is not used is stored by the body for later use in the form of fat. As our body first turns to carbs as the main energy source, limiting the intake of carb requires the body to start burning fat stores for its energy needs. And hence, it leads to faster weight loss. The phases of Atkins Diet. The Atkins Diet has been divided into 4 phases. Phase 1, Induction, which is about 2 weeks. As the name suggests, this phase is the introduction of the low-carb diet to the body by initially providing only 20 grams of carbs every day. High-fat and high-protein foods are consumed as the carbs come only from green leafy vegetables which are low in starch. Low-carb veggies, proteins and healthy fats may be consumed during this period. And this kicks off the weight loss because your body is now burning more fat due to minimum carb intake. Phase 2, Weight Loss, till you're about 10 pounds away from your weight goal. Low-carb foods like nuts, seeds and low-carb vegetables and fruits are slowly added back to the diet. The total consumption of carbs is increased every week, and subsequently more varieties of healthy carbs are added to your food list. The goal is to eat as many carbs as one can while continuing to lose weight. And the goal is to assess what is the ideal amount of carb intake for your body's needs while continuing to lose weight. Phase 3, Pre-maintenance, till you're able to comfortably maintain target weight for 1 month. 10 grams of carbs are added to the diet every week as the weight loss slows down. Legumes like lentils, beans, and fruits and whole grains are added to the diet. And this phase is continued for a month after the target weight is reached and maintained for one entire month. The goal is to assess what is the optimum intake that will allow weight maintenance without gaining weight. Phase 4. Lifetime maintenance. This is more like a long-term lifestyle rather than a short phase. And it is a culmination of all the observations during the first 3 phases. What is the ideal amount of carbs for you and which food would help you to maintain your weight over the long term. You can continue consuming these foods in the recommended amounts to maintain your weight and adopt a new, healthier lifestyle. Or in other words, you would need to maintain a moderately low-carb diet for the rest of your life to stay at your goal weight. Let's understand the foods that you can eat in the Atkins diet. There is a wide variety of foods that can be consumed in this diet as it is less restrictive compared to other low-carb diets like keto and paleo. Fish and seafood. All kinds of fish and seafood are allowed: salmon, trout, sardines, shrimps, prawns, among others. Healthy meats. All kinds of meats are allowed, but lean meats are preferred over red meat. Eggs. Here, organic and free-range eggs are recommended. Low-carb veggies. Examples are spinach, broccoli, asparagus, kale. Nuts and seeds. Some good examples are almonds, walnuts, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, Brazil nuts, macadamia nuts, etc. Dairy. You can have full-fat milk, cheese, butter, and yogurt. Healthy fats. Good examples are olive oil, coconut oil, avocado, etc. Water. Drinking enough water is encouraged. Tea. And in particular green tea due to its many health benefits. Coffee. Allowed but limited to 1 to 2 cups per day. Now, foods to avoid in the Atkins diet. Food high in sugar. Good examples are colas, ice creams, desserts, cookies, etc. Food high in starch. Good examples are potatoes, bread, sweet potatoes, pasta, rice, etc. Grains like wheat, rye, barley, etc. Processed foods. These are the ones which are usually high in sugar. Legumes. Good examples are beans, chickpeas, lentils, etc. Vegetable oils like canola oil, corn oil, or soybean oil. Foods that are high in carbs, sugar, processed foods, and unhealthy fats are to be avoided in this diet. And foods with low glycemic index are recommended, and those with a high GI are to be avoided. For information, the glycemic index is a measure of how quickly any food causes a spike in blood glucose levels. Low glycemic index carbohydrates are those that are slowly digested, absorbed, and are metabolized and cause a much lower and slower rise in blood glucose levels. This helps in burning more glucose and avoids weight gain over the longer term. High glycemic index foods are converted easily into glucose and cause a sudden spike in blood sugar levels. And hence, low GI foods are recommended in the Atkins diet. Now let's understand the benefits of Atkins diet. Number 1. Effective for weight loss. Various clinical trials have been done to compare low-carb diets like Atkins to low-fat diets. And while the results are conflicting in many such cases, there is substantial evidence to prove that Atkins diet is beneficial for weight loss. Number 2. No calorie restriction. There is no specific calorie target in this diet. It becomes easier to follow as one only needs to avoid certain foods rich in carbs and restrict the intake of carbs overall. However, you do need to count your net carb intake and monitor that over the different phases. Not counting the calories is one of the biggest benefits of Atkins diet, as few people would like to keep track of calories with each meal. The data is encouraged to include fat and protein, and there is no restrictions on the intake. And some of the most popular food choices like steak and burgers without bread find a place in this diet. Number 3. Healthy carbs. While this diet does restrict the carbs intake, but it also encourages one to choose healthier carbs. Refined grains and sugary drinks are discontinued to lower the carbs intake. Green leafy vegetables and fiber-rich fruits are introduced in the later stages of the diet, which are healthier options for carbs. This goes a long way in educating dieters about the differences between healthy carbs and unhealthy carbs. And when you cut back on the carbs, you are likely to see a dip in your weight due to the loss of water weight from the body. Number 4. Widely available options. Most of the foods that are required for this diet are widely available at any supermarket or even online if you prefer that. Moreover, none of the foods burn a hole in your pocket as they are nothing exquisite. While one can easily find a book on Atkins Diet and make a list of foods that you are allowed to eat, there is no requirement to prepare a specific meal. Now, let's understand some disadvantages of Atkins Diet. Restrictions on grains and fruits. To starve the body of carbs, grains and fruits are restricted. And this may not be an ideal situation for many who love to eat whole grains. At least in the initial stages of the diet plan, intake of whole grains is completely barred. And if you like fruits, this diet might not be a cakewalk for you. Atkins Diet restricts fruits in the early stages of the diet. While you may add fruits later in the plan, the initial restrictions on fruits mean you might need to get your dietary fiber from someplace else. No wonder many people who start on the diet complain about constipation. People on the diet would need to drink plenty of water and eat high-fiber vegetables. Side effects. The change in the diet may affect your body as it adjusts to the changes. And several issues like constipation, headache, irritability, brain fog may be faced by some dieters. And some dieters have even complained about a rise in their cholesterol levels. Also, our brain uses sugar from carbohydrates, so lack of which would lead to irritability. Lack of long-term research. Although there are studies that prove that Atkins Diet is effective in weight loss, there is a lack of substantial evidence on the long-term effects. The lack of energy-giving carbs is fulfilled by including fats in the diet. And the diet doesn't necessarily make a distinction between saturated fats and unsaturated fats. May be difficult to sustain. This diet restricts some of the most common foods like fruits and grains, which make it difficult to follow in the longer run. Eating out with friends would be a tedious task, as some of the most edible components of the plate would be off limits for you. However, sticking to any kind of diet is difficult and requires self-restraint. Lack of vitamins and minerals. The restriction on grains and fruits could cause a deficiency of essential micronutrients. Hence, one needs to take supplements for vitamins and minerals at least during the first few phases of the diet. Counting carbs instead of calories. Although one doesn't have to keep a track of their calories, keeping a track of carbs is an integral part of the diet plan. And counting carbs is as difficult as counting calories, if not more. You will need to keep on reading the labels of the food items the whole time you're on the diet. So, in conclusion, Atkins Diet has proved to be effective against weight loss in the short run. But the long-term effects of the diet are still under study, and there is no proper scientific evidence to support its long-term benefits. In case you are thinking of going for the Atkins Diet, you should always consult a doctor who's aware of your medical history. Hope you have enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more such videos, you may consider subscribing to our channel and give a thumbs up to this. A little bit of encouragement from you will go a long way for us. Thank you, and we hope to see you again. Bye for now.